On September 13th, Ridgefield's Planning and Zoning Commission holds its public hearing via Zoom. The first 3 hours and 30 minutes of that hearing is filled with two applications that were submitted on July 26th. The application A-22-1, brought by private citizens to petition the Commission to update existing, now outdated regulations that already prohibit both medical and recreational marijuana to reflect new state statutes, a Board of Selectmen approved town policy, and now a town ordinance, had been stonewalled by the Commission and delayed as much as legally permitted. It had been accepted by the Commission on June 14th and should have been the first application on the agenda, but it was the last, even though this hearing was an extension of the public hearing of August 16th and could not be extended again without the applicant's approval. John Katz moves to table. As the most experienced commissioner by decades, you would think he knew better. Maybe he forgot.
Next up is public hearing continued A-22-1 for the regulation amendment to propose to prohibit all medical and adult use cannabis establishments in all zoning districts in the town of Ridgefield. The applicant is Mr. Kirk Carr. I see him in the audience. I will promote him to panelist. Mr. Carr is kind of getting queued up, and hopefully we get Miss Constantino. Hi, Mr. Carr. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks.
Good. Normally, so this is public hearing night number 2. Normally under our protocol, night number 1 is all for the applicant, a little public sometimes if we have time for that. And night number two, we usually start with staff and staff report. So Alice actually would normally start off with her recommendations and opinions and things like that. She's not here, obviously. So I know one thing. I guess on behalf of her, I'll update everybody who probably already knows. The ordinance is now passed. And congratulations to Mr. Carr, who obviously was, pro that. And I know that Alice is working with myself and Tom Beecher. Alice would have said all this to, to see what the appropriate next steps for us with regard to updating the regulation. But the ordinance is passed, it's effective, superior, and it doesn't matter what our regulations say, that our regulations come under the town ordinance. So that's where we are from a staff standpoint right now. Mr. Carr. Mr. Carr?
Yes. Yes, I think the urgency of this matter has certainly been mitigated both by
Mr. Chairman, a motion has been made to table.
I don't believe you can table this.
The motion's been made, is seconded.
Second.
Now, you guys are incredibly rude. I have never dealt with a public agency as rude as this agency.
I would be opposed to closing the public hearing and discussing it and just deciding this now, and then we can talk to the town attorney and make a plan outside of this this application.
I think the motion on the table is I don't want to trip on my words. The motion that's been made is to table this item on the agenda.
And addressing that motion, it is in order to give Mr. Carr an adequate time to say whatever it is he has to say without at least me feeling that bedtime has been upon us.
Would you show me the courtesy of just letting me speak for a minute before you do this?
Mr. Carr, please take a couple minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, I was about to say that I think the urgency has been mitigated by the fact that the ordinance is passed and that you have extended the moratorium. And this application was received on the 14th of June. You just had 2 public hearings, very lengthy, that were accepted on July the 26th. You had until September the 29th to open those public hearings. So, I mean, I think we have been badly treated in this entire situation. That said, I am prepared to agree to extend this public hearing until the 28th with 2 kind of caveats. One is that we appear first, not last, and that Tom Beecher will have had a chance by then, and you will have asked him to go over the proposed amendment to make sure he has no objections, or if he does, to make suggestions on how we could satisfy any of those objections.
Okay, thank you. I can answer that second part, I think, of your request, which is well, I can answer them both. So we will definitely have feedback from Tom. I was going to answer that first. And in terms of getting you first on the agenda, yeah, I don't see why not. In fact, you are the most dated application. So normally old business, we would do that first. So I'll make sure. I just have to
Well,
ask the office.
We were the most dated tonight as well.
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't catch that. The office does the review, and I missed it, honestly. But we can make sure that we do that for you, Mr. Carr.
Thank you.
Do you want to continue then until, let me just look at the dates here. So we normally should have closed by the 20th of September. So you'll grant an extension to the 28th.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll continue this public hearing to the 28th of September. Thank you, Mr. Carr.
You're welcome. Thank you.